Hello, Wilshire. Happy Epiphany. You know, both the day today and the season of Epiphany is a time when we talk about shedding light, about revelations. Well, I have one for you today. You know, the writer of Ecclesiastes said, "For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven." For some time now, I've been discerning the times, both inwardly and outwardly, through prayer and through consultation with Kim and with other members of the church that the church has actually assigned to me over the past few years to have this process of discernment. And I've come to the conclusion that the season of my role as senior pastor is coming to a close. And the time is now to begin the search for a new senior pastor. So why now? Well, happily not because of health reasons. I feel pretty healthy, and age is only a number, though I do have my Medicare card. But it's also not because I want to be enrolled in this new club they call the Great Resignation Club that is part of this leaving of the workforce during COVID. A lot of clergy are going through that too, and they're citing burnout and stress and all of that. That's not true for me. The fact is, I love what I do and always have, and I've loved doing it with you. I'll still continue to be a minister, just not the pastor. And fittingly, I'm making this announcement here in the sanctuary because this place with you has become my home away from home. I'm not wearing the t-shirt, but I am Wilshire. And Kim and I want to say that we can't express enough our gratitude to you for all that it has meant to us and to our family across the years to be here. It's the greatest honor of my life to have been your pastor. And now this is the church I've always wanted to pastor. I just wish I were 30 years younger. Somebody's going to have a great opportunity. But I still think this is a good time for me and for the church. And so let me tell you why I think that. First of all, for me, I've been preparing for some time. And the work with residents and our Pathways to Ministry program is one that I'll be able to continue for a period of time to come. And that has led also into some teaching opportunities and work with Perkins School of Theology at SMU. We started a Baptist House of Studies there, and I am the lead advisor for that group, and I'll be teaching my first class this semester. You all probably know that I started a nonprofit, an interfaith group called Faith Commons a few years ago. And we work for the common good, and some of you have watched Good God podcast and other things, and there's still plenty of work to do there. I do have some grandchildren I'd like to see grow up and be with them a little more too, so all of this falls in place just right. As for the church, I think we've been preparing for this day to come for a good long while. You know, we had in our Vision 2020 strategic planning process a task we set about to have a transition plan in place by 2020. We didn't have to implement it then, but we put a committee together, a small group, and we've been working on this process. We now have come to a place where we've established a good leadership team. We have a wonderful staff, 3 seasoned and tested associate pastors. And I thought after our inclusion decision 5 years ago that it would be really important for me to help lead us to a good solid place where our identity was really in place and where it was fixed in our minds and hearts. I think we are there. Everybody is welcome in this church. And it's exciting to be able to say that and to feel confidence about that for the future as well. Then I thought I would wait until we got through COVID. Well, I don't know if we're ever getting through COVID, but it does look like we have a hope that we've learned to adapt and adjust, and the day is coming when we'll have ourselves in a new place about all of this, but the truth is we've managed it well, and we came to the end of this past year in a very strong place financially, and going forward, this is a good thing. In the process of coming out of COVID and looking to the future, we need to start a new time of dreaming together as a church. And it's best in this new season for a new pastor to come and do that with you, who will be able to lead in that effort and to succeed with you in this next phase of church life. So what happens next? Well, what happens next is that in the tapestry, tomorrow, you will receive more information about all of this and all of the plans of things, how this is going to unfold. But you will also see there and online and in paper when you arrive at church, both of the next 2 Sundays, a nomination form that you can fill out. Up to 10 people, each member can nominate for the pastor search committee. Then at the church conference on January 23rd, the personnel committee will present its recommendation to the church of the 9 members who will serve as the pastor search committee. And they'll get to work right away searching for our next pastor. If you would like to talk more with me about this as a church, I'm going to meet in a town hall here at Wilshire on Wednesday night, the 12th of January, and I'd love for you to join me and we can talk through that in a little more detail. So to get a little more detailed about timing, the plan is for my last day as senior pastor to be August 31st. That week, I will have celebrated my 33rd anniversary as your pastor. I still can't believe that. But in order to give us all a little emotional buffer zone between my leadership and the next person, May 1st will be my last Sunday to preach in the pulpit. And then I'll be available, at limited availability, because we both need to learn how to, I guess, let each other go in a sense. I'm reminded at this point of those baby dedications. And it's almost like I'm having to say to myself, George, this church doesn't belong to you. It belongs to God. And you know, that's so very true. The church is the consistent thing. Even though we've had only 2 pastors over 63 years, the truth is every pastor, no matter how long the tenure is an interim pastor. And my predecessor, Bruce McKeever, did such a good job of being a friend and encourager to me. I think we have a good model, and I'm looking forward to being that way with my successor as well. There are many people that I need to thank, and there's a lot of time for me to do that still, staff and lay leadership and friends, and I'll get around to that, but I sort of hear my wife chirping in my ear at times like this, say it better, briefer, George. So let me just tip my hat to you and say, I know we can do this well because I know you. And there's something rare and special about this church, a spirit of adventure, a courage that is always open to what the Spirit might be leading us to next. You know, our mission is to build a community of faith shaped by the Spirit of Jesus Christ. The Spirit is not finished with us yet. And I can't wait to see where the Spirit leads us next, together. Because after all, we are Wilshire.